So Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Hudson, The Talk, and Bill Maher have all bent the knee to the WGA strike. They all thought, hey, we're going to make our comebacks in the middle of these strikes, and the consequences will be whatever they may be. We'll accept it and keep trucking. But then, like mobsters, they intimidated them into backing down.
Dude, it absolutely is that.
Once again, pausing production. This was just kind of crazy to see from Bill Maher, though, because even this TMZ article says, if we know Bill at all,
he won't back down
to the strikes. But even he did, as of today, actually. A few hours ago, he tweeted, "My decision to return to work was made when it seemed nothing was happening and there was no end in sight to this strike. Now that both sides have agreed to go back to the negotiating table, I'm going to delay the return of real time for now and hope they can finally get this done." So one of the replies said, basically, you couldn't find any celebrities who are willing to appear to be on your show because of their own strike. It was already doomed from the start.
So I'm going to read you a couple of things that were said. So Rosie O'Donnell ripped into her. So the last thing in the world that I would ever want to have to do is to have a conversation with Rosie O'Donnell.
It was Rosie O'Donnell's fault with the Drew Barrymore situation.
So she says, as we reported, Rosie O'Donnell excoriated, she used my word there, excoriated Drew on Saturday, posting simple, this is insane. It's like a freaking it's like a threatening letter from a terrorist. It's a night letter. It is a night letter tacked to your door with a K-bar knife. Listen to this. It says, "Stop." These are her simple instructions to save face with the union. Says the terrorist, the fat terrorist. The disgusting fat terrorist.
What did Trump call her?
Something more awesome than disgusting fat terrorist. But this is what she says. She says, stop taping the show. Stop asking audiences to cross the picket line. Then ask someone to help you craft 3 declarative sentences. They should follow along the lines of, I made an error. I apologize to the WGA for disrespecting the work of professional writers. I apologize to all union members who are withstanding real hardship as I live a life of luxury. You sociopathic scumbag!
Is Rosie O'Donnell not willing to cop on to the same thing?
These disgusting sociopathic celebrities who are just desperate, not only to appear virtuous, but to then, that is the most kindly worded, threatening letter you've ever heard in your entire life. And make no mistake about it, that is a threat. Every single one of these people has caved. Stephen Amell, slump shows. Stephen Amell's built like a freaking, he was on like American Ninja Warrior, slumped like a bitch because these people put them in their place. It's disgusting. And it's like, at one point, it's like, I've never exactly been super pro-union, at least not in that context. This does nothing to help anyone. It just makes them seem more awful. What it does is it denies somebody the fundamental right to save themselves in favor of hoping to God that these scumbags who run the union will save all of them at the same time. It's antithetical to the individual human experience. It's disgusting, and it goes against how we are wired as people. I guarantee you most of those people want to at least be working, right? There is somebody else pointed out, like, look, there was a meme going around of Bill Maher and John Oliver. John Oliver is out doing his shitty stand-up right now and giving the shitty money from the shitty stand-up to the people that are on strike. It says, Bill Maher was going to come back, and it says, in a world full of Bill Mahers, be a John Oliver. Kiss my ass. Like, no, like, he's offering people the ability to make money by working, as opposed to relying on this guy of these people of varying levels of fame to make money and then hopefully give you a chunk of it. Like, that's a threat. What she said is absolutely a threat. And we're seeing exactly how these people behave when they don't get what they want.
I just don't understand what the strikes hold over their heads. That they can't,
because they'll never work again. If they do not fall in line, no pro-union project, and all projects are pro-union projects, will hire them when this finally gets resolved. It's starve, threaten to, don't allow the people you work with to work. And remember, all of these shows talking about coming back, we're going to follow strike guidelines, meaning no promoting projects. Like, they were going to follow the lines. All they're doing is giving these people a chance to come back to work, put images on screens for people to see. Nobody's saying shit about The Voice. The Voice is, or I'm sorry, about, what's it called? The View. The View's still on air.
We just got a $20 one from That Stanzatastic.
Yep.
So if things are usually in a rule of 3, who is the next person to get accused? Also, if you want to spice things up, grab a random person from the castle and bring them in completely unprepared. Also, Borak's so good. Crisis Party.
We did get a crisis party, so it will end up going off here. So we actually did succeed there.
Get fixed?
Yeah, it looks like it's back to working again right now. So yeah, like this. Okay, so I was curious as to why. Here's the other thing. It's all selective enforcement. That's the other thing about this bullshit. Thank you.
Thank you. It feels good for it to work again.
No union required.
You know, that's the funny thing. Bill Maher could have just started a podcast and no one
He's
would
got a
bother him.
podcast. He's got his own podcast.
Why can't he just continue doing that?
So I was curious as to why The View is allowed, why the scumbags at The View are also allowed to remain on air and nobody seems to care.
But they have non-union writers, don't they?
No, so they're under what's called a network television code agreement, which is not subject to the strike.
Okay,
So
why?
So it's a different setup here. They're still not allowed to talk about projects because those are part of the union. But yeah, it says it's definitely a lot. How long do you think this can go on for? They're talking about how long this will go on for. Make no mistake about it, they want this to keep going on because they think the studios are going to cave, and they don't care if all of these people want to go back to work. All of these people want to work, and it's just so anti-individual. Maybe that's what I hate so much about this shit. Is it's so
You have
collective.
to operate as a cyborg.
A disgusting
hive mind.
cyborg Borg of bullshit. But
We just got another $20 from GA. I just saw Vice is claiming accusations against Tim Ballard regarding women he was undercover with, sources say, and Yashar Ali is loving sharing it via Twitter. They're going for everyone but the people on the client list.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the Epstein client. I'm still waiting on those flight logs.
Wow, even Tim Ballard is gonna get Me Too allegations.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
So, because he's considering running for Romney's seat Romney's seat or whatever. Right?
Okay.
So, look, I'm sick of it because it is so unbelievably anti-individual the way these people are behaving, and that's what they love, right? They're all freaking communists at heart, anyways.
This is Drew Barrymore's apology and backtracking statement. She
Look
said,
at her face. I'm sorry. Look at her face.
She's literally about to burst into
This is a woman who was threatened.
So she said, I have listened to everyone, and I'm making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over. I have no words to express my deepest apologies to anyone I've hurt, and of course to our incredible team who works on the show and has made it what it is today. We really tried to find our way forward, and I truly hope for a resolution for the entire industry very soon. So even when she announced that her show was making a comeback, she apologized at the same time. And
look, and
in a week's time, she changed her mind all over again.
And all of this shit is not including the fact that we just talked about how the state of California has approved unemployment for these people who got to work through COVID. Well, you, Mr. California worker, were stuck at home hoping for a $1,000 check from these scumbags.
I like the flair there.
Thank you. It's so and I have no love for Drew Barrymore. She's the one who sat on the ground and propped up Dylan Mulvaney in that creepy video.
But you might have an ounce of respect for her.
I have an ounce of respect
if she did the difficult thing here.
If she had followed through.
But she didn't.
If she had followed through, if Bill Maher had followed through and gone against this and done what they said to do, let their employees come back to work and make a living, I would have more respect for them.
Even after backtracking, you're still going to get called a scab.
Yeah.
You can't go back on
this will be in articles forever.
Yeah.
This will be mentioned down the line.
She'll be remembered.
She was a scab sympathizer, they'll say. Next was it's a long way off, but it's not a long way off of this. I was she was probably anti-vax too. Mm-hmm. She's not pro-union. What other skeletons does she have in her closet? It's insane, and all of these shows caved. But yet The View just gets to sit there, and they're doing the smart thing. Just ignore it. Just do your shit and ignore it and make your money. It's bonkers, dude. And that's the other part. It's not like these people were saying, like, we're going to come back and we're going to completely ignore everything that was said. I understand solidarity. I do not understand threats from somebody who's making the best choice for themselves, their workers, and their families.
I didn't understand Drew Barrymore's original statement about bringing her show back, because she seemed to believe she could do this without crossing a picket line. And I don't really understand that.
Because as long as they did not talk about movies or the strike, they would have been okay.
But she's still having her writers working on the show. They're writing for the show. Therefore, they're crossing a picket line. Her writers are crossing a picket line.
I don't know if that's that, or if she's talking about if she's putting these, because it's not just writers that are out of work right now. It's producers. It's cameramen. It's all sorts of people who are not on strike. Below the line workers. So yeah, maybe your writers have to sit out there on the picket lines with their shitty slogans that aren't funny or entertaining because they're not good at their jobs, but your cameraman can come back to work. Your producer can come back to work. The gaffer can come back to work. All the people, your schedule can come back to work. Transpo, all these people that aren't working right now can come back to work because they need to make a living too. But no, you should take the handouts from these unions and union sympathetic organizations. It's blackmail and it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, how do they save face now?
They bent the knee. Now they just wait it out. How
much longer is it going to take? Like,
it's going to go on forever.
Supposedly, as Bill Maher said, they're at the negotiating table again.
On Wednesday, like they're going back to negotiate on Wednesday.
The writers' strike or the SAG strike?
The writers and they're meeting with the AMP, with the studio heads and stuff like that, right?
You think it's finally going to end?
And that's the other thing. Like they're right about this. Like Drew Barrymore, Bill Maher, all of these people who have large platforms could just do this in podcast form.
Right.
And Bill Maher does do it in podcast form. What it is they're like, look, you've got your thing over here. We're like, Bill Maher is multifaceted. Bill Maher can do a podcast. Bill Maher can do guest appearances. Bill Maher can do his show, and he can move from subgenre to subgenre to subgenre. The writers have this thing, and that's their thing, and they don't want him going through with their thing without them there. Maybe because they're terrified that they'll find out, like, wow, we didn't miss these people anyways because they're not that good at what they do.
Right. Russell Brand has his own company where he employs people for his show on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's just fine doing that. He's been continuing to work through this because he decided not to go through the mainstream.
That's another reason they're scared, is they understand that YouTube and podcasts are an enormous size of the market share.
It's like this big open secret, like, yeah, you can run your entire show on Rumble or Twitch or YouTube or any of these platforms. You don't need the support of unions of big studios. It's
crazy. It's further proof that the big problem they have is that they want all of the control, none of the risk. Mm-hmm. They want somebody else to be like, here's I'm footing the bill, and they can be like, well, I guess if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Well, it's a lot harder to do that when you're the one putting the money out there, right? They are always mad at these studios for acquiescing to the general public, for changing things because they actually want to make money rather than just push forward some stupid message. But they might feel a lot different about this when it's their money that's on the line. Mm-hmm. So. These people suck, and as far as what I'm concerned, Rosie O'Donnell is akin to a fat terrorist for leaving that night letter.
What Trump called her is a fat slob. I thought there was something else. He cited her as crude, rude, obnoxious, and dumb.
She is
a true loser, a total loser. Yeah, all true.
I'm not doing it, dude. Like, there's like that letter. Like, if you read that in a different voice, it's a threat. Mm-hmm. It's a threat. It is a night letter tacked to your door, and they're scumbags. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.